There is nothing the Arabs, now called Palestinian, can claim about their suffering, their grievances, their narratives that does not apply to Jews and certain other peoples. Jews have been ethnically cleansed. Jews have been driven out from Arab and Muslim majority lands. Jews, like many other indigenous people, have a long history of being driven from their lands, slaughtered, persecuted, massacred, horribly abused, not only in Europe, but also throughout Arab and Muslim majority lands where Jews lived as a minority population. Long ago, after destroying the Jewish kingdom of Judea, the Romans renamed the land Palestine to erase all Jewish connection to the land. Despite the destruction of their kingdom and forced dispersal throughout the world of most Jews, there has been a continuous Jewish presence on the land the Romans renamed Palestine for thousands of years. In recent history, before Israel became a state again in 1948, there were many massacres against the Jews living in Palestine by Arabs. Palestine has never existed as a state. Most of what was British-controlled Palestine is now called Jordan, but because it is ruled by a king that is Muslim, not Jewish, there is no effort to destroy it. Only in small Israel are Jews, a tiny minority. In the world at large, a majority population. In Israel, only there, even though many Jews were driven out from many different lands, including Arab and Muslim majority lands, and forced to flee to Israel, they are told many generations later that they must be slaughtered and their country destroyed. No Jew in his right mind must ever forget October 7th and October 8th, the day after the mass slaughter, the mass sexual abuse, kidnappings, mutilations, and other atrocities against babies, children, the old, defenseless people of all ages. On October 8th, when the blood and misery were still fresh, already many in the world were mobilized, celebrating the massacres, mutilations, burning people alive, mass sexual abuse, and more, and calling for more Jewish blood. Many scream to this day, resistance by any means, knowing full well this is a call for sexual abuse, murder, mutilation, and other atrocities, including against civilians of all ages. Not a single thing in Jewish history or in the history of anyone in the world gives entitlement to murder, sexual abuse, and deliberately harming civilians. It is long past the time arguing endlessly back and forth about who is more right. If the basic principle cannot be understood, then no one has the right to murder, to sexually abuse, to commit other atrocities, to deliberately harm civilians, then there is no hope left for anyone in this badly damaged, wounded world. Casualties of war and deliberately attacking civilians are not the same. Conflating the tragedy of war Hamas started, or any war, regardless of who started it, with deliberately attacking civilians with sexual abuse, murder, and other atrocities is nothing more than an attempt to make the evils of murder, sexual abuse, and other atrocities palatable. It must be screamed 1,000 times, if not more. No one has the right, not a single human being on the planet, the right to sexually abuse, to murder, to commit atrocities. Not one single person, not one people anywhere have an entitlement to murder, to sexually abuse, to commit other atrocities, and to deliberately harm civilians. Palestinianism must stop being used as an excuse to murder, sexually abuse, and commit other atrocities against Jews. Weak-minded, cowardly Jew haters have jumped on the bandwagon of Palestinianism not because they care about the Arabs called Palestinian, but because they hate Jews. If they do not have Jews to demonize and blame, they could care less about human life. For the millions of children ruined by child marriage, the terrible wars, terrorism, extreme poverty, real genocides raging across the planet, they utter not a word. Palestine will never be free as long as it is a movement consumed in hatred for Jews, consumed in hatred against Jews.